So you run the risk of getting a guilty instead of when you could have had a NOLO.
Because if I don't do the NOLO, 9 times out of 10, y'all gonna go
sir,
to cop. That's why I feel forced.
I'm not even gonna take your NOLO. Let's go to trial.
Now that I looked at the video, I think I understand what happened. No,
You didn't expect the dash cam.
We're in Clayton County, Georgia, inside a courtroom presided over by Judge Tammy Longward, where Isaiah Jamal Townsend is before the court on a stop or yield sign violation. But the real issue here isn't just the ticket, it's the defendant's uncertainty about how to handle it. Townsend is trying to pursue a CDL, and he's been told that taking a NOLO contender plea might avoid points on his license, but there's no clear answer on how it could affect his future. That confusion puts him in a difficult position, because in court, the choice is simple: either accept the plea or take the case to trial. And without fully understanding the consequences, that decision becomes a lot more complicated than it sounds.
Townsend?
Mr. Townsend is in the courtroom, I believe. Mr. Townsend may want to go forward as well. I think Mr. Townsend may hold a CDL.
Mr. Townsend, come on up, sir, and tell me what we're doing on your case. Is he back in the courtroom? All right, sir, are we trying your case?
When I talked to the people that came in, they basically told me, y'all got something called a NOLO, where it doesn't affect my driver's license if I'm trying to pursue my CDL and I don't get no points. But at the same time, they told me it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. We know regular car stuff. We don't know CDL stuff. And so because CDL involves federal and state law, we don't know how a NOLO would affect it. It might have the same effect. It might not. So we try not to, let me just tell you this, though. A plea you can take a plea and get a NOLO. If you go to trial, it's going to be not guilty or guilty. So you run the risk of getting a guilty instead of when you could have had a NOLO. Now, this is your trial date. If this is a major concern for you, do you need us to continue it until you figure this out and then come back on the next trial calendar?
I ain't gonna lie. It's my 4th time in this courtroom. I'm trying to make it my last. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm trying to make it your last too, but I don't know why you keep coming back. If it's the same situation, you should have asked the questions by now.
I mean, technically, y'all brought me back. You know what I'm saying? Technically.
Right. But when you came here before, and then you had to be rescheduled, probably because of an officer conflict, you didn't ask the questions about your license to somebody who knows about CDLs?
You saying in the courtroom or outside the courtroom?
No, when you left the courtroom, did you go back and ask somebody, hey, this is what I'm facing. Is this going to affect my ability to get a CDL? Because we don't know.
No, at that time, I ain't speak to nobody. Nobody was available to speak to.
Not here, Mr. Townsend. I mean, whoever you're trying to get a CDL through. Because what I tell people all the time is if you have a CDL, we don't know how a NOLO plea, a guilty plea, or a conviction at trial might affect your CDL. That's the research you need to do so that when you come to trial, you're prepared. I can't tell you what to do. So I'm offering you a reset just because you're unclear as to what might happen. But the only way to get a NOLO is to take a plea. You don't get a NOLO at trial.
If I do the trial situation, what's the worst that could happen? You said the guilty plea is the worst?
It's only going to be probably going to be about $100 fine. That's not the worst thing. The worst thing would be if it's an issue for you, a guilty plea. But I don't know. I haven't heard anything. But what I'm saying to you is between the two, people usually prefer a NOLO versus a guilty. I'm giving you say you don't want to leave and come back. You've had a chance to do the research and you didn't do it. You got to make a decision, sir. Are we going to trial or are you going to determine what you can do with the state?
I think I'm going to do the NOLO. I'm tired of coming in this courtroom. So we're going to do the NOLO.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, he wishes to enter a NOLO to stop or yield sign violation.
It's $100 fine, yeah.
All right. Raise your right hand for me, Mr. Townsend. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. So you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Isaiah Jamal Townsend, 2025 TK 24652, stop or yield sign violation. You're entering a plea of NOLO. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
I understand everything you said.
Did you have a question?
I do.
Go
I
ahead,
don't,
sir.
I don't think it's really a question. I think it's more of a statement.
Go ahead.
Like when I was talking to the people out there, they basically told me like they want me to feel comfortable with my decision.
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest, because I hate lying. I really feel like I'm forced. I really feel like I'm forced with the NOLO, because if I don't do the NOLO, 9 times out of 10, y'all gonna go to cop.
No, sir. First of all, anybody will tell you, police officers and everybody else, that I make my own decisions. I don't side with anybody. Number one. Number two, it's your choice to make. I can't push you one way or the other. If you're not comfortable with the NOLO, we can do the trial. It really, I don't have a dog in this fight, is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm here to do. If bench trial day, I do bench trials. If people want to take the plea, sometimes it works out better for them, then take the plea. But I can't make the decision that you've had. You said you've been here 4 times, which means you've had at least 3 times between appearances to ask the questions you need to ask to know if a NOLO will benefit you or a trial will benefit you. But I can't tell you that. And you didn't do your due diligence. So don't say that we're forcing you to do anything.
I'm saying like the 3 times I came here, you was the same judge that the charge that I'm being charged for. I watched you allow 3 different situations to come up here and they all left dismissed. What I'm saying in my case is I may not be as lucky if I do the trial, and it might end up guilty.
So what you're saying is I did side for the person coming up when I thought they should have won their case, right?
No. What I'm saying is I sat back and I watched you 3 times in a row support the people that had my charge. But at the same time, what I'm saying is I don't want to gamble and take a risk thinking I'm them people and my outcome may be different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, your outcome could be different. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
so what I'm saying is the difference is when you gave them people the opportunity, you gave them the opportunity to speak on the situation. At that time, that was the trial situation. What I'm saying is I could do that same thing and I may not be as lucky. So that's why I'm doing the NOLO. That's why I feel forced. Does that make sense? Because I really want to go to trial.
We'll go to trial, sir. I'm not even going to take your NOLO. Let's go to trial. Mr. Brooks, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So at trial, Mr. Townsend, the state has the burden of proving the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. They're going to present their witnesses. You have the right to ask any question of any witness brought before this court. Please don't make any statements or say how you thought it was or tell the officer what you think happened until such time as we can determine that you are going to testify. The reason that is important is you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say can be used against you in the prosecution of this case. And so we need to wait until you have decided to give up your right to remain silent in order to offer testimony if you choose to do so. Because the state has the burden and you have a right to remain silent, you do not have to give any testimony or evidence or make any statements. The court may determine this case based on the information presented by the state solely because they have to carry their burden beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. So this is case 2025 TK 24652 for stop or yield sign violation, Isaiah Jamel Thomas. Go ahead, Townsend. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
Officer Hambrick, if you would activate your microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. State your name for the record.
Officer Stephen Hambrick.
And how are you employed, Officer Hambrick?
With Clay County Police Department.
How long have you so been employed?
About 1.5 years.
How did you become a police officer?
I completed police academy.
And during the course of police academy, were you educated in uniform traffic rules of the road?
That is correct.
Is it part of your duties and responsibilities to carry out traffic enforcement on behalf of Clayton County Board of Commissioners?
Yes,
Or
it is.
should I say the state of government, state of Georgia?
Yes, it is.
On November the 19th of 2025, approximately at 2:42 in the morning, do you recall being on duty on that day?
Yes, sir.
Do you work in a particular sector of the county?
Yes, sir. Sector 2.
Is Walker Road and East Fayetteville Road within Sector 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that within Clayton County?
Yes, sir.
Now, on that day, do you recall being at that intersection and identifying a vehicle that failed to stop at a stop sign?
Yes, sir.
Did you initiate a stop on that vehicle?
I did, sir.
Was the vehicle a Ford Fusion 2015 driven by a Isaiah Townsend?
That is correct.
How did you come to execute the stop, and what did you observe?
Well, I was on Walker Road, I was on East Fayetteville Road, facing Walker Road. I have my dash cam pointed towards the intersection. I observed him roll through the intersection without coming to a stop at all. After seeing the violation, I initiated a traffic stop.
And when you made contact with the driver, how did you identify the driver?
By his driving license.
Now, by his driver's license, did it identify him as Isaiah Jamel Townsend?
That is correct.
My camera does not show a very clear view of the person in the courtroom. Maybe yours does, but if it does the person in the courtroom resemble the person who you identified at the time of the stop?
That's correct. Black male. I think he has on a gray or green hoodie with braids.
Okay. And when you made contact with the driver, Mr. Townsend, did you speak with him?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall him making any statements to you?
Um, I told him the reason for the stop, and he denied. He denied. He basically said he stopped at the stop sign, and I advised him that he didn't.
To your recollection, was the stop sign obscured or blocked visually?
No, sir. It wasn't. It wasn't blocked, and it's a traffic control light that was operational. That was blinking red.
Okay, so it was a stop sign with a blinking red.
Red light.
Was
Yes,
there a
sir.
stop? Was there a stop bar on the roadway?
You said a stop bar? No, it wasn't a stop bar on the roadway.
Okay, and that vehicle, it entered into that intersection without stopping at the blinking red or at the red stop sign.
That is correct.
Okay. No additional questions at this time.
No questions? All right, Mr. Townsend, do you have questions of Officer Hambrick? No questions? Okay. All right, did the state have additional evidence or witnesses to present?
The state rests, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Townsend, you have the right at this time, if you wish, to give up your right to remain silent, to offer testimony in this case. You are not required to. The state has the burden of proving the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If you wish to present evidence and testimony, you may do so. Do you wish to do that, sir?
I do wish to make a statement, yeah.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. So you have the right to remain silent under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Do you wish to give up that right to remain silent and offer testimony in this case?
I wish to speak.
Okay, that means you wish to give up your right to remain
That's
silent.
correct. That's correct.
Okay. All right, go ahead and tell me what you wish me to know.
All right, so I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Okay.
I work at UPS. I went to work at 10 o'clock. I got off at 2 o'clock. My girlfriend had left her key in my car, and she asked me to come drop it off to her when I get off of work because she had to be to work at 6 a.m. So I told her originally, it's Riverdale. I'm cool. I ain't got time for the police. Long story short, she was adamant about not being late to work. So I decided to get off work at 2 o'clock. I arrived in Riverdale around 2:30. I got to that stop sign. It was probably like 2:35, 2:40, no later than that. When I tell you, it was no vehicles in sight. It was no vehicles in sight. That includes law enforcement vehicles, any vehicle on the road. I was the only person on the road. Not only that, um, I heard about Riverdale is one of the worst areas to, deal with law enforcement in. So I'm real cautious when I'm in that area, even to this day. I just was there yesterday in the same location where he said he pulled me over at. Anytime I'm in Riverdale, I always make sure that, what I'm saying, I'm focused on the traffic laws because, I haven't been in trouble with the law criminal wise or traffic wise for years. So for me, I take it very personal to keep my traffic record clean when it comes to law enforcement. So when I came to that stop sign that night, I know for a fact that I stopped. Not only did I stop, maybe 50 yards down the road, I saw the officer put on his blue lights. He had to catch up to me. I had already slowed down and stopped at the time. And then he came and got out the car, asked for my driver's license and all that. He called two more officers. He never spoke to me once he grabbed my license. Like once he grabbed my license, he went back to the car. He had the other two officers basically stand there with me the entire time. And then I asked them, can I speak to him? And he basically ignored me. Like the only time he spoke to me was when he had my license, and then he went to his car, had the officers wait there. Then he came back, gave me the ticket. He basically told me, like, if I don't sign this ticket, he gonna take me to jail. He also searched my car because he said my car smelled like weed. I don't smoke weed. So my personal interaction, he's the first police officer in the state of Georgia that ever pulled me over. I've never been in contact with no police in the state of Georgia. He's the first one. And when I tell you, he was very rude and he was upset that he didn't find nothing in my vehicle because he said it smelled like weed. I had already told him, my girlfriend, she do smoke weed, so I had explained that to him like, hey, earlier in the day, she might have been in the car smoking a joint or whatever the case may be. He didn't want to hear that. So he searched my car. Once he didn't find nothing in my car, and once he seen that I didn't have like a warrant or nothing like that, that's when he told me, all right, look, I'm gonna give you this ticket. And I tried to communicate with him. The other officers, they was very polite, they was very professional. He was the only one that, I felt like, I just felt uncomfortable around him. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he was very unprofessional. And every time I tried to speak to him with common courtesy and decency, it was like, nah, I'm good. Like it was a bad experience, long story short. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to help my girlfriend out so she could make it to work on time. And I already knew I didn't want to do it, but I tried to help her. And then in return, you know what I'm saying? I ended up getting a ticket. I've been in Georgia for 3 years. I've never, ever been in trouble with the law, whether it's a ticket or whether it's criminal, until I met this officer. And what I'm saying is, when I go to the NOLO thing, when I was saying about being forced, in my mind, I really do want to resolve this case. But at the same time, I don't want it to come back and bite me in the butt later in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said earlier, you only deal with what you deal with. You don't know the CDL side of it. So basically what I'm saying to you is I didn't do what he said I did. You know what I'm saying? And I know for a fact that I stopped at that stop sign. Even to this day, I'm traumatized from the stop. When I tell you, is no like yesterday, I was at that stop sign. I was at that stop sign yesterday. There was no cars in sight. I made sure I stopped there because I didn't want another opportunity where an officer like this would say, hey, you ran a stop sign. And all reality is like, bro, nobody was out there. It was almost 3 a.m. I was coming from work to get my girlfriend her key. And next thing I know, I'm being pulled over and my car is being searched. You got 3 officers in total there. And then when I try to speak to him, it's like 2 of them was professional and he was the only one that, he was upset that he didn't have nothing on me. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, basically I feel violated. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I went with the trial situation, because I felt like I wanted to be heard. You know what I'm saying? He was heard. I should be heard. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a track record of, tickets or DUIs or anything like that other people do. It's very important to me that I keep my nose clean because I'm trying to be a better person in life through the CDL situation. I can't, mess that up. And if I do mess that up, then it's like, all right, what position do that put me in? I work at UPS. They got, you know, tractor trailers and stuff like that. They basically put you through a class, and then once you pass the class, you now work for UPS as a CDL Class A driver. This situation with this officer has literally traumatized me to the point where I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pursue that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm just trying to resolve this case. I don't, you know, and that's it, basically.
All right, Mr. Brooks.
Mr. Townsend, you advised that you got off of work at about 2 o'clock in the morning, correct?
Correct.
And you got to the traffic intersection about 2:40 roughly?
235, 240.
2:35, 2:40. And you also testified that you were trying to get to your girlfriend's house before 6 o'clock because she was adamant that she could not be late for work, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your girlfriend, she lived somewhere in the area?
From the stop sign, I would say no more than maybe 6 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay, 6 minutes, 6 to 5 minutes from the stop sign. And when you got to that intersection, it was nighttime or early morning, right?
Correct.
And your testimony is that you didn't see any vehicles in the intersection, right?
Obviously, I was looking straight. I didn't see him. I looked in the rear view. I didn't see him. You have to come to the stop sign and look left and right. That's the purpose of a stop sign. So once I looked at all four situations, that's when I pursued. Once I went past that stop sign, it was probably 50 feet. I seen blue lights. I immediately pulled over. Immediately when I saw them lights.
So you never saw the officer in the intersection, correct?
There was no officer at the intersection. If
Okay.
anything, there's a store at the top of that hill. I don't know the name of that store, but there's a store at the top of that hill, and then there's the stop sign. From the store to the stop sign, I stopped at the stop sign. I went past the stop sign. That's when I saw the blue lights, and then I pulled over, and then he got behind me.
Okay. You were driving a Ford Fusion, a black Ford Fusion,
Yes, sir.
2015.
Yes, sir.
Investigator Ecure, if you could activate your camera. Your Honor, does the state have the ability to share screens?
Sure.
Mr. Townsend, the intersection, and that intersection is a fairly dark intersection, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it has a blinking red light to also indicate that there's a stop sign in that area, correct?
I never seen the blinking stop sign. I go through there daily.
Not a blinking stop sign, a blinking red light.
There's no blinking red light there that I see. There is a red stop sign there for sure.
Okay. I'm going to show you a video, and I want you to see. I want you to tell me if this is if this is what you remember from the stop. Mr. Townsend, do you recognize that vehicle?
My vehicle, yes.
That's your vehicle?
It's not my vehicle, but I was driving it at the time, yes.
You were driving that vehicle?
Yeah.
And would you say that this video is a truthful and accurate reflection of what happened on that night?
I still don't remember seeing that red blinking sign.
Okay.
I didn't see that, honestly.
You don't remember that?
No, sir.
Okay. At this time, the state will move into evidence will be marked as State's Exhibit number 1 as a depiction of what happened on the incident night, November the 19th, 2025.
All right. It will be admitted.
Now, Mr. Townsend, you mentioned that the officer stopped you roughly about 50 yards up the road, and the officer was not in the intersection. Do you still commit to that testimony?
Say it again?
I said you testified that the officer was not in the intersection and that there was nobody in the intersection. Do you commit to that testimony, or would you like to change your testimony?
Based off how you just started the video, it didn't look like he was at the intersection. It looked like he was on the side.
Mm-hmm. Was he able to see the intersection clearly?
I mean, based off
We'll start it over for you. We'll start it over so you can clear it. Okay, you see the flashing red light?
I mean,
One moment. Okay. Okay, we see the So you see that car that just came is at an intersection.
Okay, I see it now, yeah.
All right. And do you disagree that the officer's car is pointing towards the intersection? That's your car going into the intersection, correct? It didn't stop, did it? Ms. Townsend, did it stop?
You mentioned earlier something that just intrigued me.
Okay, I need you to answer my question, then you can go into that.
Yeah. I said yeah.
Yes, it did stop or it didn't stop?
I don't
Did the
understand
vehicle?
your question. What's the question?
I said, did your vehicle stop at the intersection?
No.
Okay, no further questions.
Anything else, Mr. Townsend?
Yeah, I now that I looked at the video, I think I understand what happened. No. I didn't peep. I just off the video.
That's not me, Mr. Townsend. I think somebody has their mic on.
You said again?
I said that wasn't me laughing. That's somebody with their mic on.
I ain't tripping on the laughing. I'm watching the video and it just played back in my mind from that night.
Okay.
This is like a month or two ago. Like, a lot go on. So based off the video, let's go back into what I said earlier about me getting off work, because that was very important. When I got off work, I had just worked probably like a 12-hour shift. And I think that based off looking at the video, I might have been wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm man enough to say I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? So based off the video, me looking at it go through the intersection, the officer was right. And I think at that time, I probably I don't want to say I was tired and fatigued and probably dozed off, but based off looking at the video, I think that's what happened. And I think that's why I did go through the stop sign, now that I'm actually looking at the video.
All right. Anything else at this time?
No.
All right. You can take the dash cam down, Mr. Investigator Akure. Does the state have anything at this time?
No additional witnesses.
All right. Mr. Townsend, the court has reviewed the testimony in this case, both the testimony of the officer who responded and also the testimony, your testimony, and the video that was introduced into evidence of the actual traffic event. The court is going to find you guilty of the event guilty of the offense of stop or yield sign violation. Does the state have a recommendation for sentencing?
It's a $200 fine.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, a $200 fine, girl.
All right, the fine will be $200. It'll be $298 with the surcharges. And sir, I can give you up to 60 days to pay without putting you on probation, or I can give you for a probation, 12 months probation to pay the fines and fees. Did you want to pay it today, or did you need 30 days or 60 days?
I need 60 days.
All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is you're going to go downstairs to the second floor. Please do not skip this stop. You're going to go to the second floor to the traffic court window. They're going to give you your paperwork. They're going to give you all the information about how to pay. You can pay online or by phone or coming back to that window to pay in person. Please remember that if you fail to pay, an arrest warrant could issue, and you do not want that. The total will be, I think, $298. You can head down to the second floor for me. Thank you. All right, are we ready on Lewin?
I had something to say, Judge. Can I speak?
Sir, you have talked a lot. What else you need to know?
I ain't gonna lie. This go hand in hand with what I was telling you, Judge, about the force situation, though. You know what I'm saying?
Sir, I didn't force you. You went to trial.
No, you said
you didn't expect the dash cam. That's all. That's the only difference in what you're saying. You said you felt forced. I don't force people to take a plea. I gave you the option. I said you could take a NOLO plea.
Let me ask you this.
Go to trial. Sir, what you need now? If you want to appeal my decision, you may, but please understand that the appellate court will see the video.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So head on down to the second floor for me. Let's not belabor this, sir.
Townsend had a plea deal sitting right in front of him, a nolo contendere, no points, a clean exit out of a courtroom he had already visited 4 times. He turned it down. He wanted his day in court, and Judge Longward gave him exactly that. What he didn't account for was the dash cam. The moment that footage rolled in open court, everything he had spent 4 appearances building collapsed in real time. He didn't just lose the argument, he conceded it on the stand, telling the judge that based on what he just watched, the officer had been right all along, and that a 12-hour overnight shift may have had more to do with that stop sign than he was willing to admit walking in. That decision to go to trial didn't just cost him the case. Under Georgia law, A guilty verdict at trial carries license points on his driving record, something a NOLO plea would have avoided entirely. And the fine climbed from the $100 he was originally offered all the way to $298 after court surcharges were added on top. But the real cost may still be ahead of him. A guilty conviction on a driving record means something very different when a commercial driver's license is on the line. Federal regulations governing CDL eligibility don't treat traffic violations the same way state courts do, and the consequences for commercial drivers can be far more serious than a standard fine or a handful of points. That is a question Townsend is now walking out of this courtroom without an answer to, and one he had 4 separate chances to research before it ever came to this. He wanted to be heard inside that courtroom. The dashcam made sure it had the last word.